Ni siku muhimu kwa taifa letu.
But if Moi proceeds and rigs himself back to power again, using Sestoni, then the people of Kenya shall be justified to use other means to get rid of him.
Raila Amolo Odinga, in full realization of the high calling.
Stand here as an Pan-Africanist and an Afro-optimist. The regional unions, which will eventually translate into formation of the African Union.
August 1st, 1982, a day that redefined Kenya. For a young engineer named Raila Amolo Odinga, it was the beginning of a decade of shadows. Accused of involvement in the 1982 coup attempt, Raila was placed under house arrest, then detained without trial for 6 grueling years, released in 1988, only to be detained within months. By 1980, the pressure for change was reaching a boiling point. Raila, alongside other young Turks, led the charge for multi-party democracy. On 7th July, known as Sabasaba, thousands defied a government ban to gather at Kamukunji. In 1992, Raila entered parliament, but the opposition was fractured. Following his father's death in 1994, he took control of the National Development Party.
I'm therefore suggesting, Mr. Chairman, that this symposium seriously considers an alternative to the present crisis. I'm suggesting that as a first step, this symposium should transform itself into a national convention.
After the 1997 elections, the political engineer emerged. In a move that shocked his supporters, he led the NDP into a cooperation and later merger with Moise Kanu in 2001.
Na kusalimia kwetu ni hii. Tulisema sisi hatungoji kupigwa kalama, sisi tunatoka, chukua kazi yako na uende naye.
The NARC honeymoon was short-lived. By 2005, a fallout over the new constitution led to a national referendum. Raila led the no campaign The NARC honeymoon was short-lived. By 2005, a fallout over the new constitution led to a national referendum. Raila led the no campaign, symbolized by the orange. They won a resounding victory against the government banana side. Out of this victory, the Orange Democratic Movement was born. It wasn't just a party, it was a juggernaut that would dominate Kenyan politics for the next 2 years, with Raila as its undisputed captain.
And they see me as representing that change. That's why they are expressing their confidence in me.
The 2007 election was the most contested in Kenya's history. Raila Odinga faced off against Kibaki's PNU, but as the results were announced in the dead of night, the country exploded. With the nation on the brink of civil war, the international community intervened, led by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Weeks of grueling mediation followed. On February 28, 2008, the National Accord and Reconciliation Act was signed. It created the Grand Coalition government, bringing an end to the violence and birthing a new office for a new era. As the Prime Minister, Raila was the coordinator and supervisor of government functions. He pushed for the 2010 constitution and oversaw the expansion of Thika Superhighway and took the political risk of reclaiming the Mau Forest Water Tower.
President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Kenya, declare that the Constitution set out in a schedule shall be the new Constitution of Kenya with effect from the 27th August, the year 2010. That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution of Kenya.
That I will always truly and diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya.
2013, Raila reigned under the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy. His campaign focused on devolution and full implementation of 2010 Constitution.
Sasa Jaramogi na wenzake walisimama imara kupigania haki ya wananchi mpaka Kenyatta akatoka kwa jela. Kenyatta alirudi akawekwa kama kiongozi wa KANU, akawa president ya KANU na Jaramogi makamu yake. Mpaka uhuru ilikuja mwaka huu, mwambia uhuru ya kwamba ametualika kama imechelewa. Sasa tukamwambia tayari tulikuwa tumeandaa karamu hapa Uhuru Park. Ndiyo sababu tukasema waendelee Nakuru na tutaendelea hapa. Tena tukamwambia tutangoja mpaka wamalizi ya Nakuru ndio tuanze yetu. Tuliwaambia vile vile hakuna matusi leo. Hakuna matusi leo. Tumemwambia sisi tunataka Wakenya wawe pamoja, wawe kama kitu kimoja. Manake Kenya ni mzito na kubwa kushinda sisi zote. Tunataka muungano ya Kenya kama kitu kimoja.
The battle moved to the Supreme Court. Raila challenged Uhuru Kenyatta's victory, citing irregularities in the voter register, but the court was unmoved. Chief Justice William Mutunga delivered a unanimous verdict, upholding the election. The Raila effect had met its first major legal hurdle. In 2017, Raila led the National Super Alliance, NASA. He framed the election as a biblical journey to Canaan. When the IEBC declared Uhuru Kenyatta the winner, Raila did not go to the street. He went back to the law. This time, the petition focused on the electronic transmission of results. The world watched as the Enigma presented his case of a compromised system.
That the presidential election held on 8th August 2017 was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution and the applicable law, rendering the declared results invalid, null, and void. Number 2, a declaration is hereby issued that the third respondent was not validly declared as the president-elect, and that the third, an order is hereby issued directing the first respondent to organize and conduct a fresh presidential election in strict conformity with the Constitution and the applicable election laws within 60 days of the determination under Article.
Despite the annulment, Raila boycotted the repeat election. Then came 2018 handshake, a deal with his rival, Uhuru Kenyatta, that redefined the political landscape once more. Together, they formed an initiative, the Building Bridges Initiative, which was later rendered unconstitutional and annulled in the Apex Court and the Supreme Court. 2022, in his fifth quest, backed by the sitting president, Raila led the Azimio coalition, but for the third time, he found himself back in the Supreme Court.
Na kwa kauli moja, tumeamua ya kwamba huyo si mwingine isipokuwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Na ikiwa siku ya historia, lazima tuchukue fursa hii kuwashukuru viongozi wa vyama mbalimbali ambao wameweka tamaa yao kando, ndio tuwe na Kenya moja, tuwe na nchi moja. Wakenya wameungana na sisi zote tumesema team captain wetu awe ni Raila Amolo Odinga.
Chief Justice Martha Koome delivered scathing and unanimous verdict. She described some of the evidence presented by Raila's team as hot air and wild goose chase. The court upheld William Ruto's victory, marking a definitive end to Raila's legal challenge.
The final orders made by the courts. This is a unanimous decision of the court, and we make the following orders. 1. The presidential election petition number E005 of 2022 as consolidated with the presidential election petition numbers E001, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 of 2022 are hereby dismissed. As a consequence, we declare the election of the first respondent as president-elect to be varied under Article 143 of the Constitution, this being a matter cutting across.
But the Raila effect was never just about Kenya. In 2024, he launched his most ambitious campaign yet. The chairperson of the African Union Commission, backed by the government of Kenya and a coalition of African nations, he positioned himself as the bridge between the continent's past and its future. The AUC bid was the culmination of his Pan-Africanist journey. He wasn't just seeking a job, he was seeking to engineer the entire continent.
I stand here as an Pan-Africanist and an Afro-optimist to front to ensure that we achieve the visions of the founding fathers.
October 15, 2025, the news that shook the nation of the continent. Raila Amolo Odinga, the enigma of Kenyan politics, passed away in India at the age of 80. From the streets of Nairobi, the halls of the African Union, the world mourned a man who had dedicated over 4 decades to the struggle for democracy.
I'm sad to say I'm on my way, won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my head is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Bondo town. Down
Kenya, God bless you all. God bless the Republic. God bless Baba's legacy.
A very big.
We've never seen something like this. We've never seen a dignified send-off like what we see here in Bondo.
My responsibility to a friend, to a brother, to my mentor, a man I went to his school. Hata kama hakuwa rais, he was the people's president.
He is the man who never won the presidency, but to ensure that no one could rule without acknowledging the Raila effect. He built the tracks, he engineered the movement, and he left an indelible mark on the souls of the nation.
And rigs himself back to power again, using Sestoni.
Raila Amolo.
The African Union.